Picture this, a massive, rusted, vintage cargo ship sailing itself through the freezing, violent Arctic for 38 years. No crew, no captain, just a phantom vessel navigating the deadliest waters on Earth. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to unpack the chilling, real-life documentary evidence behind one of the absolute most haunting mysteries in all of maritime history. Just imagine the SS Baychimo in your mind's eye for a second. She's completely silent, right? Well, except for the eerie groan of freezing metal, and she's just silently gliding past these towering, glowing blue icebergs. Above her, you've got the dramatic, shimmering ribbons of the northern lights dancing across a pitch-black sky. It is a breathtaking, cinematic scene, but honestly, a deeply unsettling one too. Because really, who sails a ship with literally zero crew? The answer? The untamed Arctic itself. Okay, let's dive into this. Chapter 1. The Ice Trap. To understand how a ship becomes an eternal ghost, we have to go back to October 1931, to the exact moment she was captured by the elements, right off the freezing, unforgiving coast of Alaska. 1,322 tons. I mean, just think about that number for a second. That represents the sheer scale of what we're dealing with here. The Baychimo wasn't some fragile, tiny wooden schooner. She was a massive 1,322-ton steel cargo steamship. She was owned by the powerful Hudson's Bay Company, making her an absolute titan of the northern trade routes. And deep in her hull, oh man, she was packed to the brim with a priceless cargo of luxury furs meticulously collected from the most remote trading posts at the edge of the world. She was basically a floating treasure vault. But you know what? All that heavy-duty industrial steel and accumulated wealth meant absolutely nothing to the Arctic winter. Suddenly, this early winter pack ice freeze just completely surrounded the vessel. Nature didn't just slow her down, it violently locked her in. She was pinned tight in a crushing, unyielding wall of solid ice. Imagine the terrifying, unstoppable force of the Arctic pack ice, literally squeezing thousands of tons of engineered steel like it was a cheap plastic toy. Which brings us to Chapter 2, the blizzard vanishing. Lost to the storm. The captain, who was absolutely terrified that the agonizing pressure of the ice would split the hull wide open, made the only logical call he could. He ordered the crew to abandon ship and actually build a makeshift wooden shelter about a half-mile away, right out there on the freezing ice. Then the Arctic unleashed its full, blinding fury. Right in November, a ferocious blizzard struck the region with terrifying speed. The winds violently howled, completely wiping out all visibility. For days, the crew was trapped in a total whiteout. They couldn't even see their hands in front of their faces, let alone the massive steamship sitting a half-mile away. The whole world was just screaming wind and flying snow. And when the storm finally broke days later, the ship was entirely gone. Now, what's really interesting about this is the captain made a completely logical assumption. He figured the ship had succumbed to the crushing ice and sunk straight to the bottom of the ocean. But days later, the Arctic revealed a chilling, impossible reality. She didn't sink. She was totally adrift, completely intact. Moving on to Part 3, the 3-decade wanderer. Adrift in the Arctic. And here comes the shocking twist. An Inuit hunter actually spotted the ship floating perfectly upright, 45 miles away from where she was originally trapped. The brutal, moving ice had somehow squeezed together and popped her massive steel hull out of the trap like a cork from a bottle, setting her totally adrift on the frozen currents. The timeline of this fandom honestly defies belief. From being completely trapped in October 1931, to vanishing in the blinding blizzard of November, to embarking on a lonely voyage that will last until 1969, the Baychimo became the ultimate ghost ship. For nearly 4 decades, without a single human soul at the helm, she sailed herself across thousands of miles of the most treacherous, icy northern waters on the entire planet. Just a blind, wandering leviathan. Chapter 4, The Arctic Phantom. A haunting legend. And this brilliantly illustrates just how wild this story gets. Over those 3 decades, she wasn't entirely lost. Explorers actually repeatedly managed to spot her and even board her rusted decks, only for the Arctic to violently shift its ice and chase them off, reclaiming its prize every single time. So, why does this phantom voyage captivate us so much? Well, it's because of this lost legacy. We are talking about a 1,322-ton steel engineering marvel. carrying a massive fortune in priceless luxury furs, literally just drifting out of human reach. The last recorded sighting of her was way back in 1969, frozen fast in an ice pack in the Chukchi Sea. And since that day, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not a single trace of her has ever been found. Which leaves us with this final haunting question. Where is the Baychimo today? Is that priceless cargo of luxury furs still sitting down there, somewhere deep in the frozen abyss? Or is she still out there, silently locked in a massive, shifting glacier waiting to be found? The story of the unsinkable Arctic bow ship really challenges us to wonder just how many other dark, untold secrets the untamed Arctic still holds tightly in its icy grip. Keep seeking answers, stay curious, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.